Your ambition, if you have any sense, is actually to become competent.
Listen to me. You're not supposed to be happy. You're not girls. Happiness is for children and women. You, as a man, were not built for comfort. You were built to grow. You were built to suffer voluntarily, to get stronger, and to carry a burden heavier than you think you can bear. If you chase happiness, you will live like a fool, weak, dependent, and delusional. You weren't put here to be comfortable. You weren't designed for leisure. The human soul isn't wired for constant ease. It's wired for growth, for transformation. And growth, by its very nature, is painful. We want happiness. Of course we do. That's understandable. But here's the mistake. We think happiness is the goal. It's not. It's the byproduct of having voluntarily faced suffering, carried a burden with purpose, and emerged stronger. You don't become whole by avoiding discomfort. You become whole by confronting the parts of yourself you're afraid to look at. And every time you refuse to do that, every time you hide from responsibility, you leave a piece of your soul behind. You don't escape suffering by ignoring it. You just postpone it until it grows teeth. Your potential lies in your willingness to confront chaos. That's the heroic path. That's the archetypal journey, to voluntarily step into the unknown, to organize what's disordered, to wrestle with the dragon of your limitations. And every time you do that, every time you endure what you thought you couldn't, you prove something to yourself. You prove that you're not fragile. You prove that the spirit within you is greater than the storm outside you. You need a goal, not some passive desire, not a vague wish, a vision, an aim that organizes your behavior and justifies your suffering. Without that, you're adrift. You're anxious. You're lost. And it's not because life is meaningless. It's because you've refused to pick up the weight that gives it meaning. People say, I don't know what I want. That's not true. You know, you're just terrified to admit it, because then you'd have to become someone else to reach it. And you're attached to who you are now, even if it's killing you. Responsibility, that's where the value is. And not just for you. When you get yourself together, and not perfectly, but honestly, you become a pillar for others. You become reliable, predictable in the best sense. You become someone people can count on when the storm comes. And you know what? The storm always comes. Life is suffering. That's the baseline. But meaning is what redeems the suffering. And you can only find that meaning by aiming at something beyond yourself. Not because you're unimportant, but because you are. And that comes with an obligation to be more tomorrow than you were yesterday, to strive, to fail, to rise, to tell the truth, even when it burns, to act, even when it's hard, to speak, even when you're afraid. That's where character is forged. People run from responsibility because they think it will limit them. But the truth is, it's the exact opposite. Discipline doesn't cage you. It frees you, because it's only when you master yourself that you can begin to shape the world around you. A person who cannot control themselves is a slave to their impulses, and that's not freedom. That's chaos wearing a grin. So take responsibility. Clean your room, yes, but more than that, clean your conscience. Ask yourself where you're lying. Ask yourself who you've become resentful of and why. Ask yourself what pain you're still carrying and what it's costing you to protect it. The person you could become is watching. The future version of you, stronger, wiser, more disciplined, is waiting to see if you'll rise or retreat. And if you decide to hide, you'll suffer. And worse, you'll know it's your fault. You were not meant to be idle. You were not built to be numb. You were built to carry something, to lift something heavy, and in that lifting, to find who you really are. That's the reward, not pleasure, not applause, but the deep, quiet knowledge that your suffering meant something, that you were not a coward, that you did not waste the opportunity of existence. So what should you do? You should aim at the highest good you can conceive. You should sacrifice who you are for who you could be. You should learn to stand and speak and act and love as though your soul depends on it, because it does. You have within you the capacity to be a monster. And that's why you must learn to be disciplined, because only a dangerous man who chooses to restrain himself is truly good, and only a broken man who chooses to heal can truly understand what strength is. This is the adventure, not safety, not security. The adventure is to face life voluntarily, to embrace suffering, to bear the unbearable, to confront the unknown, and to emerge not unscarred, but transformed. It's time to wake up, to stop waiting, to take yourself seriously, because the world needs what only you can bring. So stop asking when life will get easier. Start asking when you'll get stronger. And then begin. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, because every second you wait is a second you'll never get back. You're not just wasting time, you're wasting your life. And if you think you can coast your way into greatness, you're delusional. This world doesn't reward potential. It rewards execution. It rewards the ones who build in silence while others complain. It rewards the ones who bleed in private, who sacrifice their comfort, who drag themselves forward when no one's clapping. That's the cost. That's the tax you pay for transformation. The man you admire, the one you secretly wish you were, he suffered for it. He went without. He gave things up. He buried excuses and showed up anyway. And now people look at him and say, he's lucky. But luck had nothing to do with it. He made himself. That's what you have to understand. You're not born a warrior. You become one in the trenches, through failure, through humiliation, through rejection, through doing what's hard when it would be easier to quit. And you will want to quit. You will have days where your own mind turns against you, tells you it's pointless, that you're not enough. But that's the moment that separates the ordinary from the exceptional, when everything in you says stop and you keep going. You have to earn your own respect, because until you do, nothing else will matter. No woman can love you enough to fix the man you refuse to become. No job can validate the self you haven't built. No applause will silence the shame that you carry for knowing you could have done more. This world isn't soft, it's brutal. And if you walk into it with your eyes half closed, hoping for mercy, it will eat you alive. You need to be sharp. You need to be disciplined. You need to be capable of chaos and yet choose order. You need to be the man who could destroy but chooses to protect. That's power. That's character. That's masculinity grounded in responsibility, not impulse. Stop hiding behind distractions. Stop numbing yourself with dopamine and nonsense. Your life is not a game. You don't get another run. You think you're tired now? You're not tired. You're unchallenged. You've let comfort become your prison, and now your soul is suffocating. You want peace? Good. Then first, go to war with the version of you that keeps sabotaging everything. You want clarity? Then let go of the lies you tell yourself to justify your laziness. You want purpose? Then start with pain, because in that pain is the blueprint for who you're meant to be. Every wound is a message, every fear is a doorway, every failure is a mirror, and the only way forward is through. So stop asking for motivation. Motivation is fragile. You need discipline, you need structure, you need to get up when it's dark, when you don't want to, when no one will ever know you did, because that's the man you're supposed to be, not a boy chasing dopamine, but a force that reshapes his world one decision at a time. And yes, it will hurt. Yes, you will fall. Yes, you will bleed. But what's the alternative? A life of quiet regret, of hiding, of wondering what you could have been if only you had tried harder? You were born with fire. You were born for the storm. So stop fearing the mountain and become the one who climbs it, sword in hand. You have to decide what kind of man you're going to be, and no one can make that decision for you. Not your parents, not your girlfriend, not your friends who are stuck in the same loop of weakness and denial. You have to plant your flag in the ground and say, this is where I begin. And that means you take ownership of every scar, every flaw, every dark thought you've been running from. You don't wait for healing to feel easy. You don't wait for life to hand you peace. You earn it, step by painful step, with your back straight and your jaw locked. You know what weakness looks like. You've lived it. The procrastination, the excuses, the fake confidence that crumbles the moment you're alone. You felt that sick feeling in your chest when you know you've let yourself down again. You've watched days turn into years while you told yourself soon. So I'm telling you, there is no soon. There is now, or there is never. And I get it. Change is terrifying. Growth requires you to kill the version of yourself that's been keeping you safe and small. But if you don't kill that version, he will bury you. He will waste your time. He will poison your relationships. He will make damn sure that when you're old, you look back and choke on the regret of a life unlived. Is that what you want? To die full of talent, full of dreams, full of potential, and empty of results? To know deep down you had the fire, but you let comfort snuff it out? Number. You were meant to burn, to rise, to lead, to stand so firm in who you are that the world doesn't shake you. You shake the world, but first you suffer. Not for nothing, not to prove something. You suffer with purpose, because men are forged in fire, not in comfort, and every challenge you face is a test. Can you hold the weight? Can you take the hit and keep moving forward? Can you walk through the darkness without losing your integrity? Because that's the only way to build a man the world cannot break. And we need unbreakable men now more than ever, not passive, not pitiful, present, capable, grounded, a man who protects, not manipulates, a man who builds, not destroys, a man who tells the truth even when it costs him everything because he knows a lie, once spoken, makes him weak, a man who doesn't demand respect but earns it with every silent act of discipline. So ask yourself this and answer it honestly. If you died tomorrow, would the man you are today make you proud? And if the answer is no, then change. Not slowly, not someday, now. Because if you won't fight for your own potential, no one else will. This is your call. This is the line in the sand. And on the other side of it is everything you could become. No more lies, no more waiting, no more half effort. It's time to rebuild yourself from the ashes of who you used to be, to stare down weakness and say, you will not win. And if you must fall, fall forward. If you must suffer, suffer becoming something unshakable. If you must die, then die trying. But whatever you do, don't die lying.